As the NBA playoffs are almost underway, the end of the regular season has concluded, with the seedings and matchups officially set. What's up guys, my name is Wilson. With 16 teams chasing for a championship, realistically, only 3 real teams have a shot to win it all this season, with the Warriors seeking for a repeat and looking to capture their third championship in 4 seasons. While LeBron James and the Cavs will likely win the East again, Cleveland will look to pull off a miracle, overcoming their roller coaster season, while James Harden and the Rockets will look to bring the title back to Houston for the first time in 23 years. Before the start of the season, there were little to no expectations for certain teams that are now in the playoffs, and one of them was projected to even be a lottery team, which was the Indiana Pacers. To many people's surprises, the Pacers have been one of the most impressive teams in the regular season, finishing 5th in the Eastern Conference, even finishing with 6 more wins than last season. As you guys all know, Indy traded away Paul George to the Thunder in exchange for Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis, and immediately many people love to jump to conclusions, even praising the Thunder and bashing how much weaker the Eastern Conference was. At the time, it seemed like the Thunder had a steal, as George was considered a top 15 player, averaging nearly 24 points and 7 rebounds, while Sabonis played 20 minutes averaging 6 points, 4 rebounds, and Oladipo putting up 16 and 4 with OKC after signing a 4-year $84 million deal. Many players and media members tweeted how smart the Thunder were and probably even laughed at the Pacers trade deal, but the rise of Victor Oladipo proved many doubters wrong. Not only will Oladipo win Most Improved Player of the Year, but he's the reason why Indiana has been playing stellar basketball this season. As a first-time All-Star, the 6'4" shooting guard has emerged as one of the best two-way players in the game and was super clutch down the stretch, having the ability to take over games, overcoming large deficits, while carrying Indiana on his back all season. With the roster talent very similar between this year and last season, the Pacers finished only 42 and 40 while being the 7th seed in the East, getting swept by the Cavs in the playoffs. With a rematch with LeBron in Cleveland this season, it's very unlikely that this Pacers team will be swept and can probably even take Cleveland to 6 because of the Cavs' flaws on defense. As George was traded and many thought the Pacers were panicking out of desperation, not knowing who they can trade for, Pacers GM Kevin Pritchard made an excellent choice, while many Pacers fans even thought the team was going to be awful, even thinking about having the chance for a top 5 pick, rebuilding for the lottery. Even Knicks fans in November thought they were better than the Pacers. Not. In fact, Indiana got better, and all the players got along in the locker room, shared the ball more, as Nate McMillan helped establish the team's culture. Perhaps because it was so obvious PG was going to leave Indy last season, it probably had a negative impact on the franchise at the time. Most people would probably still say Paul George is the better player over Oladipo, but compared to their stats this season, Oladipo has definitely been more impressive in the regular season, even leading his team to the same exact number of wins as OKC this year. With both PG and Carmelo Anthony, the Thunder were only a game better than last season. One of the most underrated players for Indiana would be Darren Collison, who led the NBA in 3-point percentage and assist to turnover ratio. Looking forward, it seemed like the Pacers can build some solid pieces around Oladipo, who is still only 25 years old, proving himself to be an elite NBA player and will continue to become competitive in the Eastern Conference. The New Orleans Pelicans. Even before the season, many people were skeptical whether the frontcourt duo of Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins can coexist and win enough games to make the playoffs. As it turned out, New Orleans was a lot better than expected and looked like they were one of the best teams in the West at times, with both DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis putting up monster numbers. With the best center and best power forward in the game clicking on all cylinders, the Pelicans were considered one of the most feared teams in the West, as Cousins was playing the best basketball of his career, averaging over 25 points and nearly 11 boards in 48 games, joining an exclusive class, putting up an amazing 44 point, 24 rebound, and 10 assist performance in a double overtime win over the Bulls, playing 52 minutes. The only players to put up 40, 20, and 10 were Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, Elgin Baylor, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, with Kareem being the last player to do it in 1972 before Cousins. Cousins and Davis were both even voted as all-star starters, as it seemed like the Pelicans can make some noise, but unfortunately, just a few days after, New Orleans' playoff hopes seemed to take a hit after Cousins suffered a devastating Achilles injury, while chasing a rebound against the Rockets, forcing him to miss the rest of the season. The Pelicans would maintain their composure with Anthony Davis taking charge, averaging around 30 points and over 12 rebounds with Cousins out, and made some buzz as a potential top 5 MVP candidate. New Orleans then acquired Nikola Mirotic from the Bulls for Amir Asik, Tony Allen, and Jameer Nelson, where the power forward from Montenegro averaged over 14 points and 8 rebounds. New Orleans closed out in style, finishing with a 48-34 record as a 6th seed, including winning their final 5 games as they'll take on the Portland Trail Blazers in the first round. Last but not least, the Utah Jazz. After losing Gordon Hayward to free agency, it seemed like the Jazz were going to take a big hit while their postseason hopes were slim to none in the loaded Western Conference. What's more incredible was how successful Utah was without defensive specialist Rudy Gobert, who missed a total of 26 games due to a sprained ankle. Remember, before the start of the season, the Jazz might have pulled off one of the most genius moves of the decade that paid off big time by trading Trey Lyles and the 24th overall pick, which turned out to be Tyler Lydon, for the 13th pick in Donovan Mitchell. The Denver Nuggets front office is probably still scratching their head right now, as the debate for Rookie of the Year between Mitchell and Simmons will continue to get heated. The way how the 21-year-old two-guard from Louisville carried Utah on his back was incredible. On January 22nd, it seemed like Utah hit rock bottom in a 14-point loss to Atlanta. At the time, the Jazz had a 19-28 overall record. Sneaking up in the Western Conference seemed like an impossible task. That's when the greatness of Donovan Mitchell took over, and with Rudy Gobert returning back from injury, Utah caught fire, winning 11 straight games over a 3-week span, was over 500 and never looked back. Mitchell provided instant offense for Utah, taking over in crunch time and played like a man possessed, scoring 30+ points 8 times this season, had 2 40+ point games, was relentless on both ends, and was always reliable for Quinn Snyder. Utah finished off the season winning an amazing 29 of their last 35 games, including 3 blowout wins against the Warriors. Mitchell also broke Damian Lillard's 3-point record in his last game of the regular season as a rookie, knocking down 187 triples, including hitting 63% of his treys from the left wing. Remember, this is a guy who won the dunk contest, while you can almost guarantee he will be in the 3-point shootout one day. Because Mitchell plays in the tougher Western Conference, is a true rookie, and with the responsibility put on his shoulder, leading the team in scoring by a wide margin, competing his tail off at both ends of the floor, I would vote Donovan Mitchell for Rookie of the Year over Ben Simmons. The Jazz also finished with a 48-34 overall record, only 3 wins short of last season, despite Gobert's injuries. It'll be very interesting to see Utah take on OKC, as that series can go the distance, with OKC winning the tiebreaker. As the Pacers, Pelicans, and Jazz gear up for their first round playoff series as underdogs in their matchups, regardless of the results, it was a successful season for those 3 franchises, as they will have plenty to look forward to in the future. Who do you guys think out of these 3 teams will have the best chance to advance in the playoffs? I'ma go with the Jazz. Thank you so much for watching this video. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, NBA history, and anything basketball that will interest you. If you love the NBA, subscribe to my channel. More good stuff coming soon. See you next time.